Hello mathematicians, in this video we are going to learn how to subtract fractions with common denominators, uncommon denominators, and also mixed numbers. Let's begin. So if we have common denominators, it's pretty simple. We're actually going to look at the denominator first and make sure it is the same. And if it is, we start subtracting the numerator. So the denominator, bottom number, is 9, so we just subtract the numerator. 8 minus 3, which is 5, and so 8 ninths minus 3 ninths is 5 ninths. They also kind of show us an area model of the same problem. So let's say we have this bar, and this bar represents 8 ninths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shaded, but 9 total on this bar. And we subtracted 3 ninths, which is one of those signs, 2, 3 ninths. We are left with 5 ninths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They also show us like a number line version, a visual model. So 0 ninths, 1 ninths, 2 ninths, 3 ninths, 4 ninths, 5 ninths, all the way up to 8 ninths. And if we go backwards 3 units, subtract 3, 1, 2, 3, we end up at 5 ninths. Anyhow, let's go ahead and try some problems on our own. We have 5 sixths minus 4 sixths, and our denominator is the same, it is 6. So now we just subtract the numerators. 5 minus 4 is 1 sixth. Can't simplify, so that is our answer. We just box it and we're done. Let's take a look at number 2. And by the way, you can pause and try on your own if you'd like. So our denominator is the same. It's going to be 10. And so we just subtract the top. 9 minus 5 is 4. And you'd think that we can box the answer, but not quite yet, because we can reduce. We can divide both 4 and 10 by 2. And when we do that, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. And we can't reduce it any further. It is in simplest form, so we box that answer. Number 3, we've got a common denominator of 11, so we just subtract the numerators now. 13 minus 1 is 12. And we are not done there, because even though we can't simplify, we can turn it into a mixed number. Right now it's improper because the number on top is bigger than the one on the bottom. So we can, the official way to do this is to use division. 12 divided by 11. And let's see how many 11s go into 12. Well, just 1, and 11 times 1 is 11. Subtract that, you're left with 1, and 1 remainder, which we put over the denominator. And so our answer is going to be 1 and 1/11. Now, many of you can probably figure in your head, well, 11 goes into 12 once, it goes in once, and it has 1 left over. Therefore, you put it over the denominator, and you end up with 1 and 1/11. So whether you decide to do division officially like this, or to just kind of figure it out in your head, that's kind of on you. All right, finally, number 4. We've got 8 thirds minus 5 thirds. Our denominator is 3, so we don't have to do much there. 8 minus 5 is 3. And we are not done here, because remember, you can reduce this. You can say, oh, well, I can divide the top and bottom by 1, and I end up with 1 over 1. Or you can just remember that. Remember, a fraction is a division problem, and 3 divided by 3 is just 1 whole. Or 3/3 of something is 1 whole, which means the answer is 1. Tricky. Let's go to the next section. All right, so now we have some problems where the denominator is not common. So find the least common denominator. That's going to be our first step. So you can do it this way by listing it. You find that the for example, if we have 2/4 minus 1/3, we find out that the denominator is 12. You have to multiply 4 by 3, and then 2 by 3, and then that gets you 6 over 12. And then for the second fraction, 1/3, you're going to multiply the bottom and top by 4, and you end up with 4 over 12. So we rewrite the fractions, and then we subtract the numerators and keep the denominator the same, and then we simplify if we can. That may be kind of confusing. Let's go over some examples. So I'm actually going to write the fractions right next to it, rewrite it. And you can use the ladder method to find the least common denominator, or the least common multiple, the LCM. Or you could just kind of figure out, well, 2 and 4, well, 2 goes into 4, so the LCM is 4, or LCD is 4. And how do you get 4 to turn into 4? Well, you multiply by 1, which means you multiply the top by 1 and get 3/4. As you can see, I didn't really have to change anything. You don't have to write times 1 over there because it's kind of obvious. You're not changing it at all. Let's look at the bottom one. How do I get from 2 to 4 using multiplication or division? Well, I multiply by 2 because 2 times 2 is 4, and therefore I multiply the top by 2 as well, and 1 times 2 is 2. So we've rewritten both fractions. Now the denominator is the same. It is a denominator of 4. So beneath that, I'm going to write over 4. And I subtract the numerators. 3 minus 2 is 1. And I can't simplify any further. So that's our answer, 1 over 4. Let's take a look at this one. You can try it on your own first and pause the video. But I'm going to keep moving. So my LCM, if I work this out, I find out that the least common multiple or least common denominator is 15. And how do I get this to be 15? Well, I don't have to do anything. 8 over 15 does not change. But how did I get this 5 to turn into a 15? I had to multiply by 3. So multiply the bottom by 3, you get 15. Multiply the top by 3, and you are going to get 2 times 3, which equals 6. So right below, I have a denominator of 15, and I just subtract the numerators. 8 minus 6 is 2. And that's our answer. We cannot simplify, and it is a proper fraction. Finally, 14 over 11 minus 2 over 33. Uncommon denominator, 11 and 33. So what is our least common denominator? Well, 11 can turn into 33 if you multiply by 3. So the LCD, or LCM, is 33. We are going to get that, we multiply 11 by 3 to get 33, which means we multiply 14 by 3 as well. And 14 times 3 is 42. Below, we didn't change the denominator, so the top doesn't change either. You just multiply the top and bottom by 1, or you just kind of rewrite it. So 42 over 33 minus 2 over 33, that's going to be something over 33, and it's 42 minus 2, which is 40. And we are not quite done yet. Even though you can't reduce, it's an improper fraction. So again, 40 divided by 33, how many times does 33 go into 40? It goes in once. Subtract, you have 7 left over, and that is 7 over 33. So our answer is 1 and 7 over 33. You can't reduce it any further. Box that answer. Finally, we are going to work on some mixed numbers. So if you have a common denominator, you just subtract the whole numbers and the numerators. You keep the denominator the same, and you simplify if necessary. So take a look at this. 2 sevenths minus 1 seventh is 1 seventh. 10 minus 4 is 6. And so I get 6 and 1 seventh. I cannot simplify, so that's it. That's my answer. So let's take a look at number 8. So number 8, we have 1/3 and 1/6. We do not have a common denominator, so we are going to look at our second set of steps. Find the least common denominator, or the LCM, least common multiple as well. The least common multiple is 6. So how do I get 3 to turn into 6? Well, I multiply by 2, which means I multiply the top by 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. For the bottom, I don't have to multiply that by anything, so I just kind of write 1 over 6 still. So next, I rewrite the new fractions, which I just did, and then I'm going to subtract whole numbers and numerators. So 2 minus 1 is 1 over 6, and 6 minus 2 is 4, and I can't simplify any further, so that is my answer. Next, number 9. I have 9 and 10 over 18, and 1 and 2 over 9. So my LCM is 18. And how do I get, well, I don't have to change much on the top. It's the same. On the bottom, I have to multiply 9 by 2, which gets me 18, which means I have to multiply 2 by 2 as well. And I get 4 over 18. The top stays the same, 10 over 18. So now I subtract the fractions, 10 minus 4, which gets me 6 over 18. And then I subtract my whole numbers, 9 minus 1, which equals 8. I'm not done here because I can reduce 6 over 18. So I'm going to divide both by 6 because 6 goes into both of them. And I end up with 1/3. So my actual answer is not 1/3. It is the whole number, 8, and that 1/3. There you go. Box that answer. And finally, 4 and 5/6 minus 3 and 1/4. our LCM, LCD is going to be 12 because, well, you can figure it out using the ladder method. Now, how do I get 6 to be 12? I multiply by 2, which means I multiply the top by 2, and 5 times 2 equals 10. On the bottom, what do I do? What do I multiply 4 by to get 12? And I multiply 3. So 4 times 3 equals 12. And now 1 times 3 equals 3. Now I have new fractions to work with. 10 minus 3 is 7. And remember, the denominator stays the same. That's why it's 7 over 12. Now I subtract my whole numbers. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 and 7/12. I don't think that can be reduced or anything else. I think it's proper. Yeah, that's it. And that is how you subtract fractions and mix numbers, whether the denominator is in common or not. Go ahead and try some on your own. Good luck.